We lived on Riverside Drive at 110th Street, so the list of available colleges was not really too long. So I applied to Barnard, and my mother escorted her child up to Miss Libby to be interviewed. Miss Libby was a tyrant and had insulted many a student. I walked in and she said, "What SATs have you taken?" I told her. She said, "Oh, that's fine. That will help us in placement. Thank you for coming." And I said, "That is the fastest brush off I've ever gotten." And 2 weeks later, the fat envelope came. It was just wonderful. Now, in 1943, trolley cars ran up and down Broadway, not buses. Tuition was $187.50 a semester. In 1945, it went up to $500 a year. Men ran the elevators in Barnard Hall. You didn't use your legs or a button. And what else? And Dean Gildersleeve called a meeting for the freshmen. I guess it was a normal assembly. And Dean Gildersleeve, whose voice is known to just a few of us, I guess, and we had a couple of thousand midshipmen across the street, 90-day wonders. And she said, "Those young men will be a distraction. Keep your heads screwed on tight." We thought it was a rather unfortunate expression, but we knew what she meant. I'm afraid it was not convincing too many of us. After 90 days, they'd leave and a whole new class would come in. It was wonderful. There were V12s who were undergraduates, you know, with the little white sailor hats and the collars and everything. We didn't like them because they'd come and go with the same stupid uniform. We didn't know that one of them would turn out to be a Nobel laureate about 10 years later. So we started classes. And the second interview with my English professor, she said, "It's obvious you have never been taught to write in the English language." I was straight A from first grade through high school. Went into a French translation class, F. Went into the botany class. We went up to the greenhouse, and they said, "All right, we're putting out these plants with labels. Learn the names, study them, then you'll go out into the hall. We'll take the labels off, and you tell us what they are." Well, we beat her. The red vase is ivy, the blue jug is so-and-so, and we studied. We went out into the hall and came back. One leaf had been removed from each one. No name, no vase. Another F. Went into Spanish, Senor Duarte, newly arrived from Mexico, legally, I dare say. His English was not so far, as he said. The whole hour was conducted in Spanish. I understood nothing, but when everyone else laughed, I laughed too. He had to read an English announcement at the end of the class. The announcement was, "When the alarm sounds for an air raid drill, you young ladies will march two abreast down the..." Senoritas, what means this? He thought two abreast meant two. I walked home and I sat down on a bench on Riverside Drive and I cried. In 2 weeks, I was flunking out of Barnard. I had seen nothing but an F and insults. And then I said, "Dumber than I have made it through." So I went home and resolved to do better, which I did, until my sister moved in with her infant because her husband had been sent overseas. I was thrown out of my bedroom and put into the maid's room, which had room enough for a bed and a chair. I had no clothing, no books, and my 1912 Underwood typewriter. I could only type when the baby was awake. The grades dipped down again. It was no fun at all. I did the best I could. And then in 1945, one day, the carillon at Riverside Church started to play the national anthems of all of the Allied nations. They played the Marseillaise and so on. And we did well. And then the war ended in the Pacific. And there we were, and I graduated. But I wish I had known my freshman year what I knew by the end of my senior year.